Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis, live in Dallas, Texas at the Council of Great City Schools 68th Annual Conference. And today we have one of the best leaders in education. We have Dr. Demetrius Liggins. Thank you so very much for being here, Doc.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Fayette County Public Schools in Kentucky. What a cool place to be able to serve every single day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it there. I'm in my fourth year and just really having a great time.
Awesome. And so, it wasn't always Kentucky for you, right?
No, not at all.
And so you had a little bit of Texas sprinkled in there. Let's talk about the journey that you've had to lead and how to become a superintendent. Is this something you always wanted to do?
No, actually, it was something that just kind of fell in my lap, I'll tell you. When I graduated, when I went to college,
Sure.
I knew I wanted to be an educator. But,
Where'd you go?
Cal State.
Cal State?
Yeah, so I thought.
Are you from Cali?
No,
Okay.
I'm from Texas,
Okay.
East Texas, but
Okay,
I
got you.
And ultimately, knew I wanted to be an educator. Thought I was actually got an English degree.
Okay.
And thought I was going to be an English professor.
Okay.
And I was going to go that route, but ultimately ended up going the P12 route. And just as fate would have it, just continued throughout my career to become a principal, and then did principal at all three levels.
Wow.
And ultimately became an area superintendent, then a superintendent. But it's been a great journey, and I just love making a difference for kids. So I'm in the place I'm supposed to be.
You know what? So, many, many years in education, you just talked about the elevation of elementary, middle school, and high school, and have leadership in every one of those levels. Not many people have that, and we talk about marketability, we talk about knowledge, understanding the coherence of learning. How did that help you in your practitioner and prepare you to be an assistant superintendent or, a deputy and then superintendent?
Oh, it was, you can't take that experience away. I think the principalship itself is the pinnacle of educational leadership.
Sure.
I think it's something that really helps you. As a leader, as a superintendent today, I always think, what exactly is it from a principal's perspective? Because that's where the work is happening.
Sure.
They're the ones leading, they have the kids in the building every single day. So really being able to understand the complexities of a large high school, which I was principal of, and the fun and the very intimate relationships you have and develop with students at the elementary level, and how that impacts teaching. Really, so those experiences have really been instrumental in how I lead every single day, because and the craziness of middle school.
Yeah. Oh man, I was a middle school principal and a high school principal. And when they sent me to middle school, I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah,
right?
what did I do
What's
wrong
going
to
on?
deserve this?
Yeah.
But just being able to understand that and to relate to it. And I think with my principals today, if they come to me and we're talking about issues,
sure,
I can always put my principal hat on and relate.
That's right.
So I think it's been very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was able to be a principal middle school and high school. Middle school first, high school second. And then I was a vice principal, whatever you want to call it, in Florida, in an elementary school. I went from a high school assistant super principal to a elementary vice principal. I'm like, what's going on? They go, no, we want you to go down and learn. I'm like, I don't know how to do this elementary stuff.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it was the best thing that I ever got a chance to do is to learn the foundations of literacy, the foundations of numeracy, and really how to build, capacity, intellectual capacity, behavior capacity, social capacity of students. And I think that helped me be a better leader without a doubt. So you say it so well related to say, you know what, I'm going to put my principal hat on. I can engage at all levels because that's what principals want, right? Yeah. I mean, not just stationary leaders. And it's no leader's fault if they had those experiences, but you can't take it away. It's priceless.
Yeah, it really, it's something that you really can't. I wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, blessed to be able to do it. 4.5 years in Texas as superintendent.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Man, it was my first superintendency.
First superintendency. Never forget that.
Yes. A one high school town in Greenville, Texas.
Okay.
And really had a great run there. It was, we encountered so many issues. It was, I left right after the pandemic. And so we went through that process of getting through the pandemic, but really had a lot of great successes there. It was one of those things where I didn't know what I was quite getting into.
Yeah.
Got in, academics were in need of improvement.
Sure.
Finances were in need of improvement. And just were able to really develop a team where we did some great work there. I left the district as a B rating and inherited as a D.
Wow.
And financially,
significant movement.
Yeah. So financially, we had some issues that we worked through.
Sure.
And, it just really, and I think a smaller district really helped propel me to where I am now. Actually, I started my my principalship in a smaller district and then went to larger districts. And the things you learn in a smaller district, because your hands in so many more things.
Oh yeah, you're everybody.
So
you're the assistant principal, the master scheduler.
Yeah, so very helpful. I think that really set a great, strong foundation. So,
similar past, because I was a superintendent of a school district that had 55,000 that went to 250,000. I think it really primed me to listen and learn, because I was like, you're like it. And it goes, and you have to listen and learn to you're the one that leads in professional development. You're the one that's actively driving all the financial side of it. You're the one that engage in the community. And I think it does do that, to be able to put systems in place and processes. So how did Kentucky happen? Is it, hey, I'm gonna pick up my fly for Kentucky?
I'll be honest with you.
What's going on? You're Texas.
I was recruited, and when
that's your fault for moving it from a D to a B.
Yeah, I guess. But that's recruiter called, really described this amazing district, and then they said Kentucky, and I was like, oh no, thank you.
Yeah, right.
I had never been to Kentucky, and so I had this stereotype in my head about what Kentucky was.
Yeah, right.
And so they insisted that I come out and check out the community. I researched, and I was like, oh, this is it's Lexington's the second largest school system in the state.
Big,
it's
good district.
Urban centers in the state, and so I was like, oh, I can do this, and I've really gone there and fallen in. The fact that coming from Texas,
outsider coming in,
that's
hard.
The weather there has been something that's been most attractive to me as well. I mean, to have 4 seasons.
Right.
I mean,
you see that in Texas.
Yeah.
Hot. I don't know what's going on in Dallas here,
but it's really it's a great place. We do a lot of great things. It's a place where the community is really invested in the public schools there. And it's a blessing to be there. And we're doing some great work. And I'm really excited that I made this choice.
Everybody that I speak to, they just talk about your grace, your precision, the culture, positive culture that you've built in this school district in a short period of time. That's not, 4.5 years, while it may be a long time, it's a short time to be able to put a lot of systems in place that you put and demonstrated a sense of care in this district. How'd you do it?
Well, when I went into the district, my predecessor had actually passed away while on the job. So
wow.
I started out knowing that I needed to be compassionate, and he died
Sure.
during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And so the community didn't
Sorry
get
to
a
hear that.
chance to
Yeah.
publicly grieve together.
Sure.
They were working from home. There's a lot of speculation as to how his passing went about
causation.
and all of that. So I came in, although compassionate leadership is
Sure.
always a thing, it was very much necessary when I went in, because school was just beginning to come back in person. And it was just an opportunity where I just wanted to listen to people. I wanted to give people the grace to
Sure.
be upset about things.
Yeah.
So I think I listened a lot more than I typically would, because I didn't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
And so, which
Smart.
ended up being, to my benefit. Possibly I should do that all the time.
Yeah, right.
Not just because someone passed. But it really, it was.
It's hard.
But it was the situation that I was put into, but I realized that it was a great way to just lead in general.
Yeah,
and
the
so,
transition.
Listening, being compassionate, hearing people out, and then making necessary changes, slow but steady, and making sure we're going in the right direction. And so it was also beneficial that we're coming out of the pandemic. Everyone knew things had to shift, things had to improve. We had kids that had lost so much learning, and we had to readjust. And so we were really able to do that and do it well. And once we got over that hump, just really start propelling. And so,
and coming out, and let's just say coming out of the pandemic, you've really focused on developing the whole family. I mean, your team, I had a chance to engage with them a couple of weeks ago related to everything you're doing, from mental health to social emotional learning. I mean, like, they're doing remarkable work in your district. As you see the pandemic, we're post-pandemic, still needs to be able to wrap their arms around the whole community. And I mean, do you still feel that, see that as we transition?
For sure. Our community is really, we've dedicated a tax just to safety, which involves hardening the outside of our schools, but also softening the inside of our schools. And that softening comes with socio-emotional learning, making sure that we have mental health practitioners to work with our kids, but having a community school to provide services that our kids need. And that's always one of the things that I always talk about with my team is we need to peel back that anything that's really hurting our kids from getting them to our core mission, which is improving student outcomes. We need to make sure we're addressing, and we need to not put that on the teachers to do it. We need to have the professionals in place in order for them to do that, so that teachers can teach.
Right.
And so that's just really, it's something that I've really embraced as in part of my leadership, but it's something that our community also supports and are willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean,
through that tax.
Yeah, I mean, the referendum just signals the trust they have in you and the trust they have in the system.
Yeah.
Because infrastructure hardening, there's not enough capital money to be able to do what you're trying to accomplish internally. And so raising it from a community perspective, not only to do the hard but the soft work, I tell you, they were remarkable, and I had a chance to engage with them. So kudos to you for putting those systems in place.
Thank you.
The other side of it, you've seen some academic gains in your district, whether it be graduation, acceleration. What have you put in place to make that happen? I mean, it's been great.
It really has been. This is the first year ever that we have no schools in school improvement.
Man.
We have lowered our the only demographics that we are continuing to struggle with is our EL students, which is our fastest growing population, and our special education program. So we still have a lot of work to do there. But really, we have no ethnic groups as outliers. We have our economically disadvantaged students are no longer outliers. So a lot of work's been really put into focusing on the individual child. And outside of, you can do a lot of systematic things, but at the end of the day, we're teaching individual human beings, and really getting down to that point to where we're looking at, little Demetrius right there, and exactly what does he need, not what all the Demetriuses need. What does Demetrius need right now at this moment in order to make that happen? Much easier said than done. It's a lot of hard work, as you know. But once you start seeing those gains and results, people are much more willing to
Right.
to do the hard work
Right.
because they see that it's paying off. And so that's been one of the biggest things I would tell you, just getting down to the individual child level and making sure that we're taking care of them and whatever it is that they need in order to be successful.
I see it through your analytics, you know, moving it. And it's hard to lead in a district and not to have, you know, underperforming schools, but y'all are doing the right things by putting systems,
Yeah.
processes, supporting, capacity building, doing a really good job hiring principals to lead the work. And you've done a really good job hiring team members.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Your cabinet, you know, and I tease Houston Barber a lot, but he's a good leader. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Learning from you. You're doing a good job helping him through it. And he'll be a superintendent because of you one day. And
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
lot.
you know, I recruited him from the superintendent.
Did you?
He was a superintendent, and I asked him to come be with me. He was in our capital city, actually, that neighbors us. But no, we've also, when you talk about people, I mean, it takes people to do this. And so I have a board that understands the importance of recruiting the best and the brightest. And I think leadership is critical when it comes to moving any organization. And so I want to surround myself with the brightest, you know, and greatest out there. And so my board's been willing to invest in ensuring that we are able to recruit and bring people in. And also, I mean, teachers, we have the highest starting teacher salary now, just passed a couple of years ago in Fayette County in the state. And so really putting our mouth where our money is, our money where our mouth is.
That's a game changer.
So,
I mean, that allows you to bring the best and the brightest to your community. And that only does nothing but impact children.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, kudos to you for partnering with your board to be able to fight to bring funding in for C-level leaders and cabinet leaders and principals. And kudos to your board for doubling down and putting money where it matters, which is in education and teachers.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
9 years is superintendent. For those who are watching, those who aspire to be superintendents, what advice would you give them?
Don't do it.
Or really? You know.
I will tell you, I think the best advice I can give anyone is never forget just who you are. Yeah. You can't take this personally. You know, all the successes, it's not about me, you know, but you have to just know why are you doing this work? And just keep at it. I mean, it comes with a lot of criticism. We all know that, you know, everyone's been to school, so they know how to run a school.
That's right.
You know, so everyone has an opinion. But I mean, if you're doing the work and you know it's making a difference for kids, you know, just do the work. Do the work. I mean, quite often, I mean, it's a job that comes with a lot of recognition and a lot of, but at the end of the day, we're all here to make a difference in kids' lives, and that's what it's all about. And the moment you realize that, and you do that work to that end, the success will come.
Yeah,
you know?
Everything takes care of itself, and you said it well. Start and end with your why.
Yeah,
and you know, always make certain there's simplicity, there's clarity, there's execution, and it's all coupled with high support in this process. So. Yeah. You know what, Doc? Thank you for being here with me today.
Well, thanks for having me.
You rocking and rolling, doing some things. Listen, you know, when you're thinking about looking at leading in a great district, or you have aspirations to be a superintendent, hit up DL, man. He's been to 2 districts doing cool things, and he's like the best dressed here at the council. I might have to step my game up right now, but
I'm about to lose the time.
Yeah, right. But you've heard it from DL. So graceful, so prescriptive in his work, and really careful about what he does, and everything that he does it for kids. And you see it from Fayette County Public Schools. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you. Addison Davis, Superintendent Unplugged.